How's it going, guys? This is Ryan from Raiders Confessional coming at you today with a Warcraft Logs video to kind of help alleviate some of the fear or scariness that a lot of people feel when they get tasked with or get asked to, or kind of get some sort of feeling that they may or may not want to try some mythic progression rating, heroic progression rating, normal progression rating. Doesn't really matter, but this is something that comes along with rating. And it can kind of feel like it might be necessary at times to improve your character, and it can seem overwhelming and scary and deter some people. So I'm here today to kind of help alleviate that and kind of explain how my process is when I go through Warcraft logs before I go into a raid, and then after I go into a raid, either looking at my character or another guildmate who might need some help or want some help. So without further ado, let's kind of jump right into things. So first and foremost, you're not even in the raid yet. The biggest thing I would suggest is go to Warcraft logs and pull up the fight you're about to do on the difficulty you're about to do for the class that you play and spec that you play to kind of see where you should be at and what talents you should be choosing. So first thing is warcraftlogs.com. Go there, and then at the top left here, there's 3 horizontal bars. Go ahead and click on those, and then scroll down to the fight you want. And so I can already tell you I've done some ahead of time research, and I know the fight that I want to look at is Harjatan. So I'm going to go and click on Harjatan. It's going to load up a page and tell you what all the top parses are, that kind of thing. But as you see right here, there's all these parameters up here that you can change, and it's set to Mythic. So I want to go ahead and click on Mythic. Go down to the difficulty that I want. You can do LFR, Normal, Heroic, or Mythic. I know that the fight I did was on Normal, so I want to compare from there. So I go ahead and click on Normal. And then right here, all regions, as you click here, you can see you can change it. I don't want to change that. The more data there is to compare to or look at, the better results I'm going to get. So I'm going to leave that as all. And then over here, you can see I can change speed, damage, execution, healing, all that kind of thing. I'm just looking at damage. I'm not a healer. I'm not a tank. Most of you guys out there are probably damage dealers, so I'm going to go and leave it on damage. So the other thing too is I want to look at my class and spec, because I'm not an elemental shaman, I'm not a frost mage, I'm not a fury warrior, that kind of thing. So those aren't good comparisons. So I'm going to go down to warlock. I'm playing destro, so I'm going to click on destruction. And then item level, I'm going to leave that as for all, because I am not super high item level compared to some of these players. And so that would tell me that they're probably in some better guilds, and they may be making some better choices. They may have a better understanding of the class and the fights. So I'm going to leave that as all. So as you see right here, you scroll through here, all of these rows right here will list what legendaries everybody's wearing, what 2 trinkets they have on, and their talent choices. So one of the cool things with here is Warcraft logs kind of already sorts into what the most popular talent choices are, what the most popular trinkets are, and what the top legendary is. So these already tell me I'm going to go ahead and look at the talent choices. You can't really always control what legendaries you have or what trinkets you have. Best you can do is continue to farm until you get the ones that everybody else is wearing. And sometimes the RNG gods just aren't in your favor. So I'm not going to look at that. Can't control it. But I am going to look at the talents here. And so I can already see that, all right, I probably want to run Eradication. I probably want to run Soul Harvest, and I want to run Service and Channel Demon Fire, that kind of thing. You can see in here, there's some differences, right? And sometimes these different choices can be explained with certain legendaries, depending on what class and spec you are. But I know based on my class that that's not the case. And so right here, yep. Most of these players are using these talent choices right here. So those are the talent choices I'm going to run when I'm in the fight. I've already done the fight. The logs from my guild have already been posted. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those up. I've already taken the liberty of doing that. As you can see here, it's set to Harjatan normal for our kill, which took 4 minutes and 32 seconds for the entire fight. And then here's all the players in my guild. As you see here, I am right here. I parsed 64th percentile for my item level, 30th percentile for all item levels. For a total of 189.17 million damage at 899 item level. And here's my DPS, which is 693,000. I'm not going to look at this percentage too much or put too much stock into it, because this is comparing me to all destruction warlocks over the course of 2 weeks of all item levels. So that's not a fair comparison, because a lot of these warlocks probably have set bonuses, the right legendaries, that kind of thing. And as you can tell, I'm only 899 item level for this particular fight. And as you can see here, as I hover over it, you can see what gear I was wearing, and then you can see all that kind of stuff. I don't know why it shows those legs as green. They're not green on my character, but whatever, no big deal. Same thing with the Chrono Shard. My Chrono Shard isn't a blue. But those are the correct legendaries I was wearing, that kind of thing. But I am going to pay more attention to this 64th percentile, because this compares me to all destruction warlocks within a 3 item level range that Warcraft logs is already predetermined. As you can see with my mouse hovering over here, it's 898 to 900 item level for a total of 1,012 parses over the course of 2 weeks. So that right there tells me I did 64th percentile, which means I did pretty good, or I did okay. I didn't do great, but I didn't do terrible. I'm above average, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. So the next step in my process is I'm going to go up here. Before I kind of take you into the next step, you can see there's these other tabs right here. You can look at damage taken. You can see which characters have taken the most damage, that kind of thing. And you can see for the overall group, here's the damage we are taking and spiking, stuff like that, which is probably more indicative of fight mechanics going on, that kind of thing. You can look at who did the most healing. You can look at threat meters. You can look at buffs, debuffs, deaths to kind of analyze who died, what killed them, what that kind of thing. Our group one shot this, so there were no deaths, no big deal, that kind of thing. But I'm going to go back to damage done, and then I'm going to click up here. I'm going to go to the compare tool. These other ones, problems, rankings, and replay. Rankings has some usefulness, but for the purpose of this video, we're not going to check it out today. Replay, there can be some usefulness there. And then problems, I don't ever hang out in that one, but we're going to come down to these 3 sections right here. This one, compare manually, I'm not going to fool with that. And I'm also not going to fool with this one either, because this would require ahead of time you knowing both players involved in the comparison. But what I am going to do is this one, because this one will find players to compare to. So right here, you want to select the player you're comparing for, which is myself. I'm going to go down here and select me. And then fight length, this is a parameter that you can set to only find warlocks whose fight lengths were either 10 seconds longer or 10 seconds shorter, or somewhere in between 10 seconds longer or shorter. So this gives a range for the Warcraft log software to keep within. And so then when we're here, we're in normal, which is a flex rate, which can change the outcome of damage in the fight. So we're going to want to minimize that parameter range. And so 2 players is a pretty good range, I feel like, so I'm going to leave that as 2. Next thing is item level. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier about the item level percentage, Warcraft logs already keeps it within 3 item levels, so having it within 2 is a pretty good thing. Going to be a better indication of where I am compared to other players of similar item level and gear sets, that kind of thing. So for time range, same thing. This kind of tells you how fresh or old the logs are that it's pulling up to compare to. Tomb hasn't been out this long, so there's really going to be nothing sooner than that, so not a big deal. We're going to go and leave that as it is. Damage metric. If I was a tank or healer, I would probably want to change this for playing a hybrid class, but I'm not, so I'm going to go and leave that as default. Putting on damage doesn't really change much, and then I'm going to click search. So it's going to pull up a list of all the warlocks whose fight lengths were similar, raid sizes were similar, and their item level was similar. So I can kind of scroll through here and see, okay, here's all this stuff. Here's all these different warlocks. Here's some that were less damaged than I was. You can see here I am 40th for my item level overall, and then here's others that did really well. So I already know what talents I chose. Some of these other players chose different talents, which could be explained by legendaries. They may not have gone in and looked ahead of time which talents they should be choosing. They still did okay, which is fine, not a big deal. But I want to try and stick to the talents I chose. And then also the other thing I want to look at is, are any of these players who did significantly better than me wearing the same legendaries I am? I've already come in and looked and can already tell you right now that there aren't. And so I'm going to, knowing that, I'm going to try and choose a warlock who is where I want to be with gear. That being said, though, I probably don't want to choose a warlock who is wearing a legendary that would change how I cast my spells. And I can already tell you, again, I've gone in here and looked ahead of time, and I'm going to go ahead and choose this player right here, because nothing of what they have on or their talent choices is really going to make that big of a difference. So I'll click on their name, and it will bring up a side-by-side comparison. And as this loads in, you can see here's a graphical representation. I'm going to be the blue line, which is indicated right here. They're going to be the purple one, which is going to be indicated right here. Then you can see right here, they did a whole lot better than me in terms of overall damage throughout most of the fight, other than spots like right here, right here, right here, and right here. And one thing I'm noticing is I'm doing better in the valleys, but they are doing significantly better on the peaks. And so next thing we want to do is go and look at side-by-side comparisons to see maybe where we can find what is causing that difference. One of the big things right here is you can look at cast numbers. So right here, Chaos Bolt, both of our top damaging moves for 27 casts on myself, 36 casts for them. So right there, there's a difference right off the bat. Again, 69 million damage overall for them with that spell to a 46 of mine. That's a 23 million difference. That's kind of a, that could explain some of what's going on. But right now I can tell you, knowing what I do know, that their 36 to my 27 could be explained by something as haste, or it could be explained of maybe I was moving around more in the fight when I shouldn't have been, and I was missing some casts, that kind of thing. But either way, I know right now that I need to, there's already an area of improvement I have that I need to look into and start looking to see what's going on here. So they're Immolate, 38 casts, 32 casts, 35 million, 42 million. 7 million difference, yeah, that makes a difference, but the number of cast differences, okay, that's not a huge deal. Our fight differences were, not very big. Looks like here to be about a second difference. So they got off 6 more casts than I did. That could be explained by haste. There's already 2 spells I can tell you that they're getting more off of, which tells me, okay, they probably have more haste than I do. Next big difference I'm noticing is my Channel Demon Fire is my 3rd damaging move. Their Conflagrate is their 3rd damaging move. They have 39 casting Conflagrate. I have 30 for 17.9, and they have theirs for 25. So right there, that's another difference. Probably explained by haste. Theirs were coming off cooldown more often. They were making sure to use them, and so their Channel Demon Fire was way down here. So right now I'm already noticing some big differences that I need to do some further investigation with. Their 4th damaging move was Incinerate. My Incinerate was all the way down here at my 6th damaging move for a 31 cast at 12.91 million. Theirs was 61 cast for a total of 23.6 million damage. That is a big difference. This right here is probably explained by more than just haste. This might mean that I'm probably not casting, or I'm doing other things when I should be casting Incinerate. I could be switching targets. I don't know. And we'll look into that here in a little bit, but that's a big difference. That's a big problem. I need to, I need to do better about that. So again, here's their Channel Demon Fire for 10 casts. Mine was up here for 9, 19, 12. Theirs was 16. So I actually did more damage on my Channel Demon Fire, which tells me I probably did something right here. That person rather, was probably missed a few casts when the ads were up. They were probably just casting it when the boss was up. And you saw 1 less cast. I can tell you right now, I know for a fact there were a couple of times I sat on the cooldown because I knew the ads were about to be grouped up near the boss, and I could cleave onto them with Channel Demon Fire, which is what I did, which is probably what explains why I did more damage with mine. Next thing, Dimensional Rift. 12 casts, 10 casts, 10 million, 12 million. So again, this part right here is explained by haste. I don't, they have more haste than I do. This is starting to be a clear indication to me that, the fact that it's not just 1 or 2 spells that they're casting more of, it's all of their spells, tells me I'm probably a little bit low on haste from where I should be. So Flame Rift, their Flame Rift, for 14.7, mine's 10. Again, this could be explained with gear, that kind of thing. My Grimoire Imp was cast twice for 8.7 million. Their Grimoire Imp was casted 3 times for 13.79 million. So again, they probably have more haste and were able to fit in one more cast of Grimoire than I was. It's something we'll have to look at, but I cast my Doomguard twice for 7.8 million. They casted theirs once for 3.65. Okay, I already know that they probably have more haste than me, so why do they only have 1 cast? Well, then if I look down here, they summoned their Infernal as well, which means they probably summoned it with the thought of summoning it during the ad phase to do more damage to the ads. But I can tell you right now, their Infernal only did 2 million on top of their 3.65 million cooldown damage of their Doomguard for a total of 5.66 million damage. My 2 Doomguard casted 7.81 million damage. So that tells me I did something right, or that they didn't do right. If they had casted Doomguard a second time rather than their Infernal, they probably would have done more damage. So I'm good there. I did the right thing, that kind of thing. And then Mark of the Hidden Satyr. They don't have Mark of the Hidden Satyr. Mark of the Hidden Satyr a lot of times is the suggested enchant that Warlock should be running on their neck. They don't have it up. So again, they probably didn't do something right with that. That's something on them. But Infernal Awakening, I don't have that. That can be explained with trinkets. That's not a big deal. The trinkets you have are the trinkets you have. So now that we know what we do know, and we've looked at this, the next thing we want to do is kind of look in and target the big areas of differences to compare the two and investigate a little bit deeper. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Incinerate. That was a big one that we noticed. They have twice as many casts as I do. So go ahead and click on that, and I can already see right here, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 peaks, whereas I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, you might explain this might be a little bit of peak, but I would argue differently. So again, they probably have more haste than I do, but they're probably doing a better job of just casting more when I'm probably doing things like moving or target switching, that kind of thing. So I need to do better, which tells me I'm probably moving more than I should be, and I should be sitting and not missing cast. And so 61 casts for a total of 23 million to my 31. You see 29 plus 2 for a total of 12.91 million. But here's another difference I'm noticing. They sat on the boss the entire time. I didn't. I was casting on the ads. So that tells me a couple things. I might be doing a better job of being a team player here. And they're obviously sitting on the boss. But I can tell you right now, knowing what I do know about my group, I probably would have been better off sitting on the boss because we have 2 elemental shamans, an affliction lock, a frost EK. We have a bunch of classes that have really strong AoE compared to that of a destruction warlock, and the ads don't stay alive for very long for me to really get my AoE rolling. So I might want to just sit on the boss and cleave off the boss on the ads when the ads are up and not really worry too much about it as long as I'm doing mechanics. But right here, 61 casts to my 31, I need to do a better job. That's explained, that right there is more than just a haste difference. So I know that I need to do some improvement there. So go, and the other thing, so we're going to close this out up here. Don't click the bat button. It will screw up the comparison. So I'll close that out and brings me back to the page. So another thing I want to look at here is my Grimoire Imp cast. So they had one more than I did. And so I'm going to go and click on this and see when they cast it. So we both casted it right here. I sat on mine a little bit right here. They casted a little bit earlier today, which means their cooldown may have come up sooner. You see here, they casted theirs about 138. I casted mine at 159. That's a 21-second difference. That means I probably just missed my cast. And there is a little bit probably explained by haste. You see, they casted theirs, 1 second in. I casted mine at 5 second in. So again, this pushes out when my cooldown comes up compared to theirs. So I'm not doing a good job of maximizing the amount of cooldowns I can fit inside of a fight. I'm already pretty certain they have more haste than I do. And I'll show you here in a second how I can kind of figure some of that stuff out. But right here, I need to do a better job of fitting more cooldowns inside of a fight. So I'm not maximizing and being as efficient as possible. And this is a clear indication that I need to do some improvement. So again, we'll kind of close this out now that we've looked at that. And we'll do one more just to kind of help out and figure some things out. But where was another big difference? I want to look at let's look at Chaos Bolt, right? So Chaos Bolt, you see here, boom, boom, boom. These all pretty match up, except for right here, so that's right there. This explains a big difference. This explains the difference. These areas where there's a significant difference. Oh, here's another one. This explains a big difference. And if we look at, I hard casted on this ad. They don't have any hard cast, which means this damage done right here that you're seeing was probably from casting Havoc, and they were just cleaving onto the ads and focusing on the boss. So again, I probably need to do a better job of focusing on the boss and just cleaving onto the ads, passively, that kind of thing, and not worrying too much about them, especially considering my raid comp. I have some other players that are more than adequate at taking care of that, and I'm just wasting my damage and not being efficient as possible, considering. And so, we've looked at that, and again, I'll go back in this for a second here. One thing I want to show you guys is right here on some of these spells, you can see a crit percentage, right? So Chaos Bolt, I'm not going to use this one because Chaos Bolt has a 100% chance to crit all the time, despite what stats you're running. So I'm not going to look at that. But what I am going to do is I want to come over and I want to look at our conflagrates. So I can see right now, I'm running about a 58% chance to crit with my conflagrates, whereas they're at a 53%. That's about a 5-point difference. It's a little bit less actually when you include the decimal, but it's roughly a 5% chance difference. But what I am noticing is they have 39 casts to my 30. Again, you see here, they didn't do any hard casts on the ads. I did 7 hard casts on the ads. I need to do a better job of focusing the boss. But these 39 tell me that they have probably, like my initial theory, they have more haste than I do. So theirs are probably coming off cooldown more, and they were doing a better job of hitting them on cooldown. So they're, even with less crit percent chance, those 9 more casts equaled for more damage. So I need to do a better job of 1, getting more haste, and 2, doing a better job of being as efficient as possible with my casts and hitting them off cooldown. So again, that's another tool you can utilize to kind of figure some things out. So we can look through a lot. We can look through more things, but I think at this point you guys probably get a good idea of how to use this tool. Another thing that we can look at is we can click on events, and it'll do a side-by-side comparison of who casted what at what time frame, and you can use that to compare. If the two players in consideration are off from the beginning, this really can translate into a difference down low. And these won't match up, but sometimes you can kind of use this tool to see, who was, out here. So again, my channel Demon Fire doing more damage than theirs. Look at this time frame. This is when all the ads pop. Mine did a whole bunch more damage than theirs did. So either their group wasn't doing a good job of grouping the ads up, or my group did a really good job, or I did a good job of holding on to it. Because if you look here at their time frame, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, whereas I held mine 10 seconds in. So that might be he may have casted theirs. Yep, Harjatan, right? Look at all this spread out. Mine's all clumped together, which means I probably had some ads up and I did a good job there. Yep, that's another tool you guys can use. It definitely has its moments where it is useful. But for the purpose of this video, I would definitely suggest just kind of staying in this realm and trying to find the big areas of weakness first. And then obviously as you guys get more proficient with this tool and get more familiar with it, you can start to dive deeper into things like that. So that being said, guys, this is for me. I hope this was a really good explanation for you guys that may have thought that this was a little bit scary, something that was a bit daunting, would deter you from this kind of thing. It's really not. It's pretty easy, as you guys can see, and hopefully you guys can use this video to kind of if you need to, you can pull it up and scroll back in the time period to find the area, walk yourselves through how to use this kind of thing. I have found this tool very incredible on multiple occasions, both for myself and other guild members. I am currently the raid lead for our Mythic Progression Guild. So a lot of times myself and some of the officers are sitting down with players, or sitting down with ourselves and trying to find our areas of weakness or those players to try and help our guild get better. It's a really easy tool to use, like I said. And so don't be scared by it, guys. Hopefully this video will help you guys out. So that being said, if you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. If you guys want me to do other videos, I can tell you right now I'm going to be putting on a simulation craft video to kind of make that a little bit easier for everybody. But if you want to see other types of videos like this, by all means, I will include a link for how you guys can get a hold of us in the description. Let me know what you guys think, whether you liked it, didn't like it, if you want some other types of videos, that kind of thing. And hopefully with every video I put out for you guys, I can get better at it and provide more proficient content for you guys. So with that being said, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys watching this. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe. For the next time, we will see you in the next video. See ya.